Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about translations. Translations are one type of transformation. Typically, they're done in the coordinate plane, and it's really just when you take an object or even just a point and actually physically slide it to a new location. So you may have talked about this in maybe grade 6, where you do flips, turns, and slides. So the translation is just a fancier way of saying a slide. Basically, what you're going to do is take a figure and slide it to a new location in the coordinate plane. What we do is basically add a number or subtract a number to the coordinate, to the x coordinate, and then also to the y coordinate. The a value is what you add to x, and that tells you whether to go left or right. If it's a negative number, obviously that would be to the left, and if it's a positive number, that means you move the x coordinate to the right. And then the b number is what gets added to y. If it's positive, that means you go up, and if it's negative, that means you go down. So for example, if we were going to translate the triangle PRT, and we were going to go 6 units to the right and then 3 units down, you literally just have to look at each point of the triangle that's drawn. And what you can do is actually figure out what the actual coordinates are. So point P, it's 5 to the left and then up 4, so negative 5, 4. Point T is 5 to the left and up 1, so negative 5, 1. And then point R is 2 to the left and up 1, so negative 2, 1. And what we're literally going to do is draw this triangle, draw the image of this triangle after we translate it 6 to the right and 3 down. So what you can actually just do is count from each point, go 6 to the right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then go 1, 2, 3 down, and then that's where your new point P would be. When we name our new points, we don't actually keep just the P. What we would actually call it is P prime. So P prime, I'm trying just to click on it, but I'll just write it for you guys. P prime is actually just the capital letter P, and then it almost looks like an apostrophe. So P prime looks like that. So this is where our new point P is. Then we just repeat the process for the 2 other points on the triangle. So point T, we're going to, again, count 6 to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3 down. And now we have point T prime. And then I'm just going to change colors so you could see it a little better. For R was here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right, and then 1, 2, 3 down. And that's our new triangle. What we do is we use something called arrow notation to indicate the change. So you start by just doing a regular ordered pair, x comma y, and then you draw an arrow. And then you start another ordered pair. And then this is where that A and B come in from the previous slide. So because we moved 6 to the right, that means we increase our x values by positive 6. So we're going to write x plus 6, comma, and then since we went down 3, that means we actually are decreasing y by 3, or subtracting 3. So the rule for this translation, if you wrote it in what's called arrow notation, is x comma y, then you draw an arrow, and then it translates to x plus 6, comma, y minus 3. And again, you're using a positive, you're adding to the x value if you're moving to the right, and you're adding to the y value if you're actually going up, and then you're subtracting to the x value if you're moving to the left, and to the y value if you're going down. You can actually do translations or figure out new coordinates without graphing. So if they give you a rule like this in arrow notation, it says we're going to move triangle PRT, and it's the same one that we just did, x plus 6, comma, y minus 3, and we want to just find the new coordinates. You don't actually have to graph it. They just want to know what are the new coordinates. Obviously, you could get out graph paper, graph the original triangle, and then count each point 6 to the right and 3 down. Or instead, you could just actually add 6 to the x value and take away 3 from each y value. So our original points were negative 2, 1, negative 5, 1, and negative 5, 4. If I'm going to add 6 to negative 2 plus 6 is positive 4. That's over here. And then if I take away 3 from 1, 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So r prime ends up at 4, negative 2. Then you just do the same thing for the other points. Negative 5 plus 6 would be positive 1, and 1 minus 3 again is negative 2. So t prime ends up at 1, negative 2. And last, negative 5 plus 6 is positive 1, and 4 minus 3 is also positive 1. So p prime is at 1, comma 1. And if you look back to our drawing, p prime was here, which is 1, comma 1. And then down here were our t primes and r primes. And if you look, they are at 1, negative 2, and also 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 2. And those are the points that we got in our chart. So if you have to actually graph the triangle, then you are physically just counting each point, moving each point, sliding it over either to the left or the right, depending on if the value added to x is positive or negative, and then also up or down if you're adding or subtracting to y. But again, if you're not asked to actually graph it, they just want to know the coordinates, then you can really just do the addition or subtraction to each of the given coordinates. Okay, now you can go on to the rest of your assignment for today.